Shift colors, we're underway for all you sailors out there, past, present, and future. Hello again, everybody. I'm Greg G.K. Porter with the Surf Cup from the city of Del Mar, the San Diego Polo Grounds. And this match will feature KUFC Premier Knockouts and SCA. And we're underway as SCA is going from left to right, and from right to left is KUFC Premier Knockouts. Let's get the lineup for SCA. SCA 92's team is Carolyn Upton as keeper. Number 2 is Natalie Simon. Number 3 is Melissa Madrid. Number 4 is Lexis Humphrey. Number 6 is Lizzie Mitchell. Number 7 is Daniel Stave. Number 8 is Samantha Jackson. Number 9 is Taylor Gearing. Number 11 is Shanice Acevedo. Number 12 is Elaine Stanfield. Number 14 is Samantha Lind. Number 15 is Kirsten Twinkie Holmberg. Number 16 is Kirsten Sparky Hilbert. Number 17 is Jessica Heitman. 18 is Haley Anderson. And 30 is Paige Scott. Now for KUFC Premier Knockouts. Their keeper is Anna Goodlove. And coming down to Central there and back to the lineup here, Sammy Whitefield, 00 out there. Number 2 is Nikki Condit. Number 5 is Gina Scafidi. Number 7 is Dana Lakin. Number 8 is Kylie Nordness. 11, Alex Piercy. 16 is Rihanna Stelter. 17 is Rebecca Roller. 18 is Jessica Blair. 22 is Carly Check. 23 is Gabby Whittinghill. 24 is Lauren Wabashewski. 25 is Gina Shimke. 28 is Angie Behrens. And 31 is Taryn McCormick. The head coach for KUFC Premier Knockouts is Danny Madrigal. And also a head coach is Dwayne Cruz. And the head coach for SCA is Josh Sterling. And his team manager is Richard Mitchell. On the near side, that ball goes out of play. The SCA will throw it in. 0-0 here in the first few minutes of the game. Humphrey will flick on toward the central, and that ball goes out of play now. KUFC from the Chicago-Milwaukee area, the visitors here. And the Surf Cup 2008. The big college showcase here. They also have the Thanksgiving Surf Cup tournament, and that's played at various fields, but that's for the youngers. And that ball into the 18-yard box, coming out and making the save. Nice save. Carolyn Upton coming out and making the save for SCA. Keeping the score at 0-0. And she wants to go down to Central with her drive. Madrid. Come on, Shanice. The knockouts have it, but however, it goes back to Mitchell. Mitchell has it. Trying to get toward an attacking third. To the wide side now is Lind. Lind on the soccer ball, and marking there was Check. Carly Check into space, knocking it out of play. Kirsten Hilbert, Sparky Hilbert throwing it in. Trying to get a teammate to run onto it. Can't quite do it as it's taken away by KUFC. KUFC now with Piercy. Piercy into space. Going on out to the wide now. Got a runner on the far side. Heading toward the box, but coming into the space nicely that time was Taylor Gearing. And now still on the soccer ball is KUFC. Momentarily they are dispossessed. And a counterattack ensues with SCA down the far sideline of your picture, and coming up to cut it off is the keeper, Anna Goodlove. Try to reduce the size of the field. Now into space. Winning that soccer ball that time was Piercy. Piercy has got a run for a teammate on the near side is Shimke. Shimke tried a shot, but it was blocked right outside the corner of the box. The 18-yard box, nice job, SCA. And so, but they will give up as it goes past the goal line. They will give up the CK. Rebecca Roller, I believe, is taking it. Yes, she is. for KUFC. The set piece here. Which way will they go? Will they swing it out or swing it? They swing it toward the near post. And a save made. Upton again gets a rebound and makes a save. Carolyn Upton quickly getting to that soccer ball.
Let's go, White!
Pretty good strike that time by Roller, but Upton able to keep her team at a 0-0 score. Now coming back on a counterattack. Holmberg out wide to Lind and Samantha. Trying to make that run, make something happen. We'll at least have it in the minds of KUFC on that sequence. And they go back up the field with Anna Goodlove's drive. The keeper now into space. A 50-50 ball. Nikki Condit. And that ball comes over now. One into space by Lizzie Mitchell. Mitchell now on it and draped over KUFC's Alex Piercy, and it'll be a free kick. 30-minute halves. 0-0 your score. Great GK Porter here with Dan the Man on the camera. We're your George Landerman Video Sports Productions. In the 18-yard box. Into the corner now. Driving it out. Out of that deep back, Nikki Condit. And now into space. As trying to go with it is KUFC, but intercepted as they stand tall in the back. Mitchell getting it to her teammate there. Driving across midfield. On to it now is Holmberg, and she drives it on a diagonal pass to the wide side. Samantha Lynn trying to chase it down. It was knocked out by KUFC. The throw in. Off the 50-50 ball, we have a foul. And that's going to work against KUFC. Going to be a free kick for SCA. 0-0 your score. Look like Taylor Gehrig is going to take it. Trying to get that ball in the box. And they do have it in the box. Trying to get somebody to flick it on, but they just couldn't quite do it as they were marked well in the central of the box. And it remains 0-0. Quickly getting it out. Anna Goodlove trying to get it started with a counterattack. Meeting into space there is Hilbert. However, they have another player as it was drawn back. Up across midfield. Now that midfield action now as they're going to press them in an attacking third. However, coming out is Upton. Upton way off her line. A nice job that time. Nice recognition. Getting it to the near side. Here's KUFC with Nikki Condit. And that pass over to Alex Piercy. And that ball will go out of play past the goal line. Too much pace on it that time. And so they ruined their opportunity to process that offensive action. And so Carolyn Upton setting it up at the corner of the 6-yard box. And a 0-0 score here at the 2008 Surf Cup. Thanksgiving weekend. The college showcase here at the San Diego Polo Grounds. On it now. Roller to the outside. Looking for Stelter. And let's see. That ball goes past the goal line, I believe it was. Or no, it went past the far side touchline to throw in. Throw in for KUFC. And they tried to get somebody to run onto it. Didn't work that time. Both teams so far in the tournament, the KUFC Premier Knockouts tied FCLV 92 Mundial. It was a 2-2 tie. And then it was, they got 4 points out of that match. And of course, SCA playing against Tustin United did not score, so they're looking for their first score of the tournament. However, they were U.S. Club Regional Champions for Northern California, so we know they can put the ball in the back of the net. Wouldn't be in this tournament if they couldn't. Throw it in, SCA 92. Try to get something going here. Reduce the size of the field now. Want to throw the diagonal on the near side. And it's over to Alexis Humphrey. Humphrey trying to keep it in, and it was lastly knocked out. And see what the center ref. And it is going to be a free kick. KUFC Premier Knockout's going to get the free kick out of their own half of the field. 50-50 ball won by SCA. Condit chasing it down into space. Gives way, though, to Lexus Humphrey. Humphrey, her service towards the box. The header went the other direction that time, as it was partially blocked by KUFC. And now they at midfield, heading the other direction, but nice job in a space that time by Danielle Stave, picking that ball off. And now, outside the 18-yard box, a service, and it turns out to be a shot, which was not close to the near post. 0-0 score, and now substitutions will come in as SCA wants to get a fresh player in. It's going to be Paige Scott coming in, at least in this particular sequence. Anna Goodlove, the keeper for KUFC, the premier knockouts from the Midwest, the Chicago, Milwaukee area. Pushing that ball upfield. Had a touch there quickly by Czech. And had that ball bouncing and Czech in the air. It has to mark, and her teammate had a mark also. That ball now goes up to Lakin, and a foul. And Lakin will have the free kick. Lakin gets it going at midfield. They all black. And a long ball placed on the near side, but running it down first is Lizzie Mitchell for SCA. Over to Humphrey. Humphrey looking, Paige Scott was in the area, didn't get to it. However, getting it now, nice step over that time by Alex Piercy, but that ball is shot out of play at a near side touchline because she was being marked well. SCA 92, the defenders. Heading it up. Lexus Humphrey turns around and drives the ball to midfield. All the players for the KUFC were on this side of the field that time. Paige Scott now. And it's going to be a foul on Paige. Rebecca Roller with a free kick. Roller now toward the central, but that ball is quickly intercepted. Back the other way with a counterattack, Samantha Lind. Lind was looking for a teammate, but too much pace on it for Hilbert.
Hey, we got a play there.
Too much pace on it that time for Hilbert. KUFC drives it up, the premier knockouts. And they have it in midfield, but only momentarily. SCA taking it away. The Northern California visitors, and it goes all the way back down to Goodlove. And Goodlove had to come off her line to make that save. The header toward the central. Paige Scott now. Her drive over to the outside. Trying to do something in the interior is Hilbert. Kirsten Hilbert. And that ball is taken away from her and sent upfield. Touch there by Roller. And they go into central, but they can't do anything with it as Upton has it. Plenty of time, but does not get it to her teammate and gives way for an opportunity here. In the attacking third for the Premier Knockouts, who have done well in some tournaments this year. Going to have a throw in. And that touch there by Shimke. And it goes out of play on a far side. Center ref says it's going to be SCA's direction. KUFC momentarily kind of thought they had that ball, but they did not. Paige Scott draws it back to her teammate. They'll try to get the return pass, did not. Roller's on it. Rebecca Roller, but Paige Scott dispossessed. This is that time. Over to Madrid, Melissa Madrid. And it's central now as they try to get another touch, but can't quite in the space, taken away. Then Premier Knockouts now trying to get their passing attack going, but that pass was too much for Shimke, Jenna Shimke, and it goes out of play. SCA 92 from the far side touchline, a throw-in looking for Paige Scott, but now it goes over to Gehrig. Now Scott on the long ball. She was looking for Alexis Humphrey. However, now that ball is in the back. The defensive third, and they stand pretty tall. However, they have a player, strikes it out, just missed at that time. Nice job that time, keeping it alive, Alexis Humphrey, and it went over to her teammate. Couldn't quite get it in the back of the net, but pretty decent sequence there in quick fashion. And at this age, that's some of the things that you want to be able to do.
Win it.
Surprise the defender. And that ball goes out to the wide now. And KUFC can't run onto it. And so now in the back, as they've reduced the size of the field with Lizzie Mitchell. Mitchell's pass over to Madrid. Madrid protecting the soccer ball. Madrid on a run on the far side of service into the box. Scott trying to get to it. Can't quite do it, and it is knocked out of play by Nikki Condit. Condit has made some pretty decent plays here in this first half. Lastly touched off by SCA. There's going to be substitutions on the far side for KUFC. And we will mention them as they touch that soccer ball. Anna Goodlove. Goodlove dropping it to midfield nearly. As that touch there by Piercy. And Piercy on the near side on a run, drawing Jessica Heitman with her. Marking well in the defensive space was Heitman. And so it'll be a throw-in. Piercy now into the corner. Intercepted though, nicely that time. Mitchell into the central. And that was almost a big mistake that time by Wabashewski. And coming in and filling well on a counterattack, SCA in his space. Paige Scott now winning it. Scott gives it to her teammate Holmberg with a lot of time. And her pass is blocked, but it goes over to Scott. Scott now protecting the soccer ball, but then dispossessed by Roller. Roller on the move. Roller on the counterattack. Roller down to central. And waiting for it that time is Upton. No problem. As her teammate was routing off that striker from trying to make a move. Down to central. SCA retreating back, though, is McCormick. McCormick having trouble over in the corner by Samantha Lynn. Lynn not giving up on that soccer ball. Nice hustle in space. Substitution coming in. SCA 92 is going to have a fresh player. And I believe that is Samantha Jackson. It is. Samantha Jackson coming into the contest. And a 0-0 game in their own defensive third. Roller. Over to her head. Paige Scott into space. That ball knocked out. SCA is going to throw it in at midfield. Along the far side touchline, and Taylor Gehrig. And it goes all the way back to Upton, who can touch it outside of the 18-yard box with her feet. Cannot do it with her hands. Only can do it inside the box with her hands, as we all know. Melissa Madrid into the corner and got a teammate, Holmberg, trying to chase it down. And it goes past the goal line. It'll be a goal kick. 0-0 your score. Two substitutions coming in now. Elaine Stanfield, number 12, is coming in. And Haley Anderson will be coming in. And a good love. Out to the wide. Their defender pushing it up to the field. To midfield, that is. And coming into it now is Whittinghill. And her pass intercepted that time by Mitchell. And now into the space, Heitman again. Down the central now. There's Lexus Humphrey. Humphrey draws it back to her teammate on the run into the near side to Mitchell. Lizzie Mitchell now trying to push it forward, but dispossessed by Piercy. And back they go the other way now. Here's Nikki Condit on a run from the way back. And it's knocked out by SCA. And Nikki Condit will throw it in. Substitution coming in for the KUFC Premier Knockouts. And we'll mention her name as she touches that soccer ball. Here's Nikki Condit on just a drive. Nobody close to trying to redirect it. And no problem for Upton. Upton off of a bounce, and he'll drive it down the central. Gets a touch by Melissa Madrid, who drops it off for Scott. Scott on a diagonal pass out to her teammate. On the wide. And it goes inside of Madrid. And a nice through ball and a save by Goodlove at the last moment. Beautiful ball that time. I believe that was Haley Anderson, nearly got to it. And the central and try to flick on over to Dana Lincoln. Didn't happen that time. For the KUFC Premier Knockouts on the wide side now. As in the space, they try to be tough. And a 50-50 ball, Paige Scott. And a little bit too much. So it's going to be a free kick. Dana Lincoln setting it up for Nikki Condit. Condit, which direction will she go with it? Going to go toward this side of the field, but nobody can run onto it. However, they got a player now. That's Nordness. Nordness, and it is a offsides call.
Hey, that's good in the back. Hey, we got to get pressure on the ball, though, sooner. Go to the ball, girls.
Nordness had the right idea, but one of her teammates a little bit too ambitious towards making something happen, and behind a defender for an offsides call. Taylor Gehring.
Come on, go to it.
In their own defensive half of the field, KUFC. But they don't win it as Lizzie Mitchell has it. Mitchell over to her teammate on the near side. And we got a foul. Foul against KUFC. And the no-cal visitors will have a free kick.
Get in there, Madrid.
Holmberg getting it started over there to Mitchell. Mitchell service into the box, trying to get a header on the back post. Just missed her teammate Madrid, who was flying over there to try to get to it. Just a little bit off that time on the pass, the service into the 18-yard box. And Nikki Condit coming out. It was played fine for them defensively. Now they got a fresh player in. Or KUFC. And that is Carly Check. Coming into the space is Whittinghill. Trying to make something happen. But that ball is knocked out of play by KUFC. And so they will continue to try to get something in the net here in the first half, as we are more than halfway through now. First half of action. Into Paige Scott. Can't quite win it as it's won by Whittinghill. And all the way to the defenders in the back, and they drive it out of play. Trying to come over there and keep it in was Stanfield. Elaine ran out of real estate. And it's Central after the collision you saw there. Center ref saying no harm, no foul on the near side. KUFC trying to process an attack as they move it across the midfield. Alex Piercy chasing it down, but Mitchell is there. Lizzie Mitchell, and it'll be a throw-in. Lastly, knocked off of the foot or body of KUFC. On it now, Jessica Blair. And toward the Central, no problem that time for Taylor Gehring. All the way down the field, trying to get her teammate to win it, Lexus Humphrey. Couldn't quite do it in the space. And there's Jessica Blair. They can't quite get to it as KUFC Premier Knockouts have it now. Shimke still on a soccer ball, and then they dispossess her at the last moment. There was a violent collision there at that time, and that ball went down. Still in the area, the space where Shimke could do something with it. And now they have another opportunity in the 18-yard box. Showing the toughness, SCA, in her 18-yard box. The throw-in now, Paige Scott. Lets her teammate try to get it and knocks it off of the body there, past the goal line. It'll be a goal kick. 0-0 your score. Surf Cup 2008 on Turkey weekend. The college showcase here at the San Diego Polo Grounds in the city of Del Mar, California. Good 40-minute drive north of San Diego. And another ball coming into the field. Had to give it back to the other players on the fields next to us.
Come on, Melissa, fight her!
At midfield, KUFC, the Premier Knockouts. Trying to get somebody to run onto it. Paige Scott driving it off the center ref. You don't see that happen too often. And Rebecca Roller trying to get somebody to run onto it, but covering it in space nicely was Taylor Gehring. As they tried to do something that time, Carly check. Gehring coming into play. It will be a corner kick, though, because they had it inside that 18-yard box. Upton wanting her teammates to protect the post. And they have runners now toward that ball, but it's up in the air. Will they maintain it? Running out of space, and it goes out of play. Gabby Whittinghill with the header, but her teammate Lakin was trying to keep it in and could not. And so that set piece goes awry. And surely head coach Danny Madrigal would have liked to get more out of it. That time, a guy who used to play for the Milwaukee Rampage, outdoor soccer team, professional type, played some indoor ball also. Norton, the touch there by Jackson, and they push it towards midfield. Trying to get somebody to run onto it and get a touch by Holmberg. Intercepted and back the other way. Retreating back now is Gehring. And Gehring gives it back to her keeper, Upton. On a diagonal pass. Lizzie Mitchell. Mitchell trying to go down to Central, but that ball intercepted. Big time by Jessica Blair. Cut it off in his space. She was looking for Lexus Humphrey. Throw in though for SCA. Touch there by Holmberg and nobody there. Would have loved to get a run on to that soccer ball, but did not. So it's still a 0-0 game. And that is the way it's going to stand at the end of the first half. Watch what the coaches are saying to their players at halftime. And we'll get ready for the second half in a 0-0 game between SCA 92 and KUFC Premier Knockouts. We'll be right back. Stick with it. Okay, set to get underway here in the second half here at the Surf Cup 2008. Greg G.K. Porter with you, along with Dan DeVan on the camera. Going from left to right, KUFC Premier Knockouts and SCA 92 from right to left. It was a 0-0 game in the first half. Hope you enjoyed all the action in the first half. It was a fun game to watch, though, in that first half. And we'll see what ensues here in the second half. SCA has not been able to put a ball in the net in this tournament, and I know they're eager to do that. KUFC scored 2 goals in a 2-2 tie in their first game. Now that ball goes out of play, and it's going to be a throw-in for KUFC. Try to put pressure early on here in the second half, the second 30-minute section of this game. And KUFC, they've got to drive towards Upton, and Upton has no problem with it. Nobody there to follow it up. And Upton will drive it down the field. Paige Scott. Scott over to the nearest side, as that was a touch by Jackson. Scott now. And she gives it over to Lind. Samantha Lind. Lind getting toward the box. Has a pass inside the box. Trying to get another player to run onto it. Just outside the box, and it's going to be a foul. So free kick for the Premier Knockouts. And out of their own back, trying to get a header, flick on to somebody running on into Central. Couldn't quite do it. Paige Scott now. Scott routes it over her teammate, who diagonal passes it over to the near side now. That was Jackson. And a foul into space. And Jackson getting it to her teammate to win it and control it, Elaine Stanfield. Stanfield couldn't quite get the throw in, however, chasing it down is Hilbert. Kirsten Sparky Hilbert tried to turn, but then Premier Knockouts wouldn't allow her to do it. Here in the corner, the attacking third. And out of their own Defensive third, they throw it up, try to get it out, but Paige Scott won it for a second, however, gave it away. And into the central now with Heitman. Her pass, and here's Condit chasing it down for the knockouts. And KUFC trying to get a runner on the far side touchline, and they had a ball with too much pace on it for Jenna Shimke. Throw it in. Into the central. Mitchell getting it. Stanfield drawing it back. Paige Scott taking away now.
Open, Sammy, open.
Taylor Gehrig. And Gehrig. Off of Barons. And down to central. Upton doesn't get to it, but her teammate covers well into space that time, Jessica Heitman. Oh, that was a big play by Heitman. As Upton had already committed herself off the line, missed the soccer ball, but Heitman covered and got that ball out of danger in the box. Otherwise, they have a chance to put one in the back of the net. And now they have the acrobatic throw in, and they got good space on it all the way up to Upton, and she had to make a save at a near post. Rebecca Roller. And now she'll just try to corner kick. They get another opportunity to get it in the box and put it on the net. Roller bends it. The outswinger trying to get somebody to hit it. Can't do it. Now they do. In the box, and coming out with it is Upton. Upton, watch that come towards her. Anticipating it might do it. Fine job that time by Upton on her decision making to make the save. That ball now in the central. Trying to run onto his Stanfield. Stanfield has it. Stanfield try to get a touch to Scott. However, her teammate in the space covers up. And here's a long ball. She's onside. And will it go to back of the net? Go, 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 go! Melissa Madrid, and it's 1-0.
Hey, good ball, Twinkie. Well done, Madrid.
So a play where they got a counterattack and a runner that was marked on at the time the ball went over, and she just beat the defender and scores. Melissa Madrid, the first score of the goal of the game and her first one of the tournament, coming off her line to midfield now. And keeping it in their own half of the field was Holmberg. However, they have it now. KUFC, the premier knockouts now. Finding themselves down in this match here in the second half. And that ball goes out of play. 1-0 your score. SCA 92 leads. Premier knockouts, only down by 1 goal. They're still in this match. Shimke on the far side, but the defenders are going to be even tighter. They're going to be even more mentally tough to try to keep them from getting one in the net. And offensively, KUFC, the Midwest visitors, are going to try and see what they can do and try to put one in the back of the net. And they're on defensive third now, pushing it upfield. Hilbert, but she couldn't hold on to it long. Here's Scott. Scott has it to her teammate there, Stanfield. Stanfield now, Stanfield, and there's going to be a foul.
In front of it, 10 yards.
Angie Barons now. Barons drives it to the far side. Condit running onto it. Condit in the corner. And she was marked well that time. Condit trying to turn, but was marked well that time. I believe it was Lizzie Mitchell, not allowing her to do just that. But they will have a corner kicking opportunity. So corner kick for the Premier Knockouts. Let's see what they can do with it on this set piece. And in-swinger toward the near post, but Upton comes off her line and makes a save. Upton didn't want to take any chances that time. And out of the corner of that 6-yard box, able to make the save. Driving it down to Central, trying to get a runner onto it, and they do. And that happens to be Hilbert. Kirsten Hilbert working out to the Y, trying to get her teammate to stay on to it. She does. And they're still onside. Here's Elaine Stanfield in space. Stanfield draws it back, and she wanted to go to Paige Scott, but she missed her. However, protecting there was Samantha Jackson. And coming on over is Gehring. And they still possess the soccer ball. Now they're getting good touches. Holmberg takes a drive, and the save is made. Off the header. And now here's Gehring. Takes her time. Works the space.
Go on, Madrid.
Off the diagonal pass. Melissa Madrid. Madrid trying to get one over to her teammate Stanfield, but being cut off by the keeper, coming way off her line. Good decision that time. And it's Central now. Paige Scott. Scott now working over to Madrid. Trying to make the move. Does, and we'll get another opportunity. But a save at the last moment. As good love robbed her. 1v1 with the keeper, and nearly another goal by Madrid. To the outside, a service. Madrid trying to flick it on. Got Stanfield, but she can't quite. In the box still. And here in the second half, the white and black putting a lot of pressure on the all-black of KUFC Premier Knockouts. Seeing a different ball club here now. At least early on in the first half of the second half of action in minutes. And now down to Central, but now they want to try to come back with a strong counterattack themselves. Rebecca Roller, but she gave it away. Nobody there as Gehring takes her time, sets it up, and pushes it down across midfield. And retreating back is Nordness. And that ball looks like it's going to go out of play, and it'll be a throw-in for KUFC. And out of their own defensive third, and there'll be a substitution on the near side. Is no-count visitors SCA bring in Alexis Humphrey and also Danielle Stave. On the far side is Condit. Condit trying to drive it to midfield, but she was already out of play when she struck the soccer ball. The one with the geometric designs, the one that is the most famous ball in all of the world. Called in most countries football, in this country called soccer. And on it, KUFC, the Premier Knockouts. They get it over to Gabby Whittinghill. Whittinghill now. Whittinghill still dribbling and gets a long ball into the corner for Rihanna Stelter. And that ball goes out of play. On the far side touchline, lastly knocked out, covering into space. Carolyn Upton and company defensively doing a fine job in this game, shutting out a team who scored 2 goals in the last game. So far, they get a substitution now into the game. And that is Jessica Blair. So Jessica Blair in the contest. Bad ball now. Try to do something over in the corner. Didn't quite get to it, and they give way. At midfield, Paige Scott trying to get to it, but her teammate gets to it first now. And running on to it, Dare Stanfield.
Cut out the lanes.
Putting the pressure on the defenders for KUFC. And on the near side, that ball goes out of play, or it's kept in nicely that time, and a nice hustle that time by Carly Check. And in the space, it goes out of play now. It'll be a throw-in. Danielle Stave throws it in. Stave can't get to it. And now in the defensive half, as routing it back, Taylor Gehring to Upton, and Upton down to Central. Melissa Madrid missed it. And coming on to it now there is Humphrey. Humphrey in the space being marked heavily. Can't dispossess her. Strong that time was Rebecca Roller, but nobody on a long ball to be able to run onto that one. Jenna Shimke was the only one in the central of the field. And plays like that begin to be plays that you don't want to make too much if you're the All Black. And now on a run, Alex Piercy. As you only have so many quality chances in a match. And that is one of the things when you're down 1-0 that you have to start taking advantage of. Because you're working against the clock and you're working against the score. And coming into space. Nicely that time, Elaine Stanfield showing that she was not in any way worried about their possession of that soccer ball. And it created a lot of problems for them there. And plays like that, even though they seem insignificant, they are significant because, again, it keeps the team that is behind in their own half of the field, and which makes it harder for them to have a chance to score. Man, it's going to be a handball. It's going to be a free kick. KUFC Premier Knockouts. Now 1-0. The Midwest visitors in this Surf Cup 2008. This college showcase. And out to the wide, Nikki Condit. And a heel pass. Back to Condit. Got a player in the interior. Paige Scott trying to mark. She and her teammates get there at the last moment. Oh, Danielle Stave went down, but had a big play up in the air. And that ball will go past the top of the crossbar and a far post. And now 2 players coming in for the Premier Knockouts. Both teams in Group D have to win in order to get to the semifinal today. And right now, SCA 92, who cannot afford to lose any more games, they even have a chance. And they are leading 1-0. Substitutions coming in now for SCA 92. Shanice Acevedo and Haley Anderson into the contest. Retreating back is Gehring. Gonna go diagonal across the field to Lind. Lind now draws it back to her teammate. I believe that's Mitchell. Mitchell now. Madrid trying to get to it. Acevedo trying to get to it. Cannot. Or she gets it and pushes it back to her teammate. And Acevedo again. Down to Central. They can't do anything more with it as standing tall in the center of the field. Being very tough in the space of KUFC. Trying to keep this only a 1-goal deficit. Madrid. Madrid now. Madrid. Goal! Takes a strong enough of a shot. Good Love got a hand on it, but it wasn't enough to keep it out of the net. And it is 2-0. finding a way to get to the soccer ball in the Central. And it has hurt the Premier Knockouts in this contest. And it is now 2-0. All here in the second half for Melissa Madrid.
Let's go with that.
Can the Premier Knockouts change the fate here in the second half of the way this game has been played? Or is this the ball game today for SCA 92? A team who was hungry coming into this contest. Shut out in their first match.
Easy, Danielle, easy.
But was not a team that was beaten in their first match. They have not lost yet. KUFC, who did not win, but were in a tie themselves with FCLV 92 Mundial. Good love. Wants her team to try to find a way to get on a scoreboard like they did in the last game yesterday. Trying to get another player to run onto a cannot in the space. SCA 92 with Azevedo. Paige Scott now. End of the Central. Watching George Landman Video Sports Productions with Dan the Man on the camera, and a strike, and try that time by Samantha Lynn, and just couldn't quite tuck it inside that near post. Happy to be with you from the San Diego Polo Grounds here in the city of Del Mar. Surf Cup 2008, the college showcase here in the girls under 17 gold division. Premier teams in this tournament. The age of 16 and up. Got a 19-year-old game we'll be doing later. Azevedo in the Central. Azevedo, nice, handling the ball, but Lexus Humphrey just couldn't quite possess it. In the Central, Paige Scott. Scott still on it. Scott now. Man, toward the center. Take it away. As Piercy and company on a counterattack. They've got Stelter running wide. Stelter! And that ball goes past the goal line. And let's see what the center ref decides to do. Was she in the box? And it is not going to be a penalty shot. Very close play that time. Upton. Their team leading 2-0. A nice comfortable lead here when you got 2 goals. But can they make it a victory? Or will KUFC Premier Knockouts come back and do another 2-2 tie? In his space. And they got a substitution as it goes out of play. There was a foul also in their own half of the field with a free kick. On a Saturday morning. It's turned out to be a nice day after the rainfall that we got. Thanksgiving Day and the day before. Badly needed. Set records here in San Diego County for the amount of rainfall on those 2 days. The eve of Thanksgiving and on Thanksgiving Day. But it is cleared out, not a clouded sky, and a shot aside by Upton. Oh! Piercy taking a shot, but Upton is able to go high and make the save. Nearly was over her head and would have probably been in the back of the net. Chances like that, the All Black, they need even more chances to get it in the back of the net. However, now they have to retreat back. Good Love has it, but not touch it with her hand. So gives it away now to Humphrey. In the central, Madrid couldn't get to it. As Paige Scott trying to get to it. Player going down. And Scott has it again. Scott, a very physical player, here into the 18-yard box, and it runs past the goal line. Could not quite get a teammate on the near side to run onto it. 2-0 your score. The team in white and black. The red numbers, SCA 92. The gold team. Roller trying to find somebody in the space. Now has help from Blair. Cross midfield. Looking that time for Piercy. Couldn't get it. Now Roller again. And it's central, and it's going to be a foul there. Center ref looking at the play a little closer now, as it's getting even more physical now. They begin to start calling cards. As Piercy turn into the corner, up that comes way off her line, and just at the very last spot that she could touch it, makes the save. Another good decision by Upton in this contest has saved them. Only one time when her decision almost possibly gave them up a goal. But the other ones have been big ones. Scott into space. Scott to the outside now to Lind. Samantha Lind trying to get to it. Here's Scott. Scott now. Service towards Madrid. And Scott in that midfield area has been very tough today. A problem for KUFC. And a shot by Humphrey. No problem that time for Good Love. Now the near side, Lakin dispossessed. Cross toward the central, but Madrid can't get to it. Had too much pace on it. 50-50 ball up in the air. After it was Lakin, couldn't get it. Jessica Blair going to throw it in. Head coach that time, Josh Sterling, wanted to get a substitution, but center ref says, I'll get you next time. That ball all the way down to Good Love. And Good Love and her teammates, they have to begin to keep it in the defensive half of SCA if they want to have a chance of coming back, because time is running out on them. And they have to score 2 goals. And continuing to put the pressure on is Madrid and company with Paige Scott. Over to Acevedo. Acevedo, nice little touch over there to Humphrey. Humphrey possessing the ball, and that's all they have to do is continue to possess the soccer ball and eat up the clock. That's not what KUFC wants, and as they sent it on a pass out wide, looking for Stelter, but she couldn't get to it. As Upton takes her time, drives it into midfield, bringing it down Noah's Roller, but winning it is Scott. Scott back to Upton. Upton now going to stay on the wide side of the field, looking for Lind, and it goes out of play. Substitutions will come in now for both teams, as both coaches, Danny Madrigal and Josh Sterling, want to get fresh players into the contest. Elaine Stanfield comes into the contest for SCA. And in Central, the premier knockouts, Rebecca Roller. They have to do well with their chances. Roller still drawing the ball and rolling it. Pardon the pun. And then Paige Scott into space. Takes it away, dispossesses. As Madrid out to the wide. Here is Stanfield. And just missed the chance to make it 3-0. Beautiful run, good spacing. And those are the plays that start to begin to hurt later in the game when you're down. Even if you don't score, if the team that's ahead of you doesn't score, they hurt. because it eats up time off the clock. It makes you have to work harder. Here's Acevedo. Over to Humphrey. Into the box. And a shot outside. And a plus. Oh, a great save by Goodlove. Oh, that was a great save by Goodlove that time. It surely would have been 3-0. She has played well in the net too, but her team has not been able to keep SCA 92 off the scoreboard as they lead 2-0. And it could have had more if it wasn't for Goodlove. And the defenders have played pretty well. They did well in the first half, but they've had a hard time here in the second half. Upton taking all the time that she possibly can. Not in the attack mode. KUFC has to be in attack mode, but they're having a hard time. As coming back, Stave into space, Humphrey, and it rolls all the way back. Upton can pick it up at the top of the 18-yard box. Inside of that box, though, and drives it midfield. And again, Roller got to find teammates. Out to the wide, has Piercy. Piercy in space. Piercy with time, into the box, but there's one of the white and black there. They get it out quickly. Paige Scott working it over to Azevedo, but she couldn't get to it as Roller has it. Again, want to keep them out of their defensive third. Keep them at midfield. That is a strategy right now that is perfect. Eats off all the time off the clock. Now trying to get toward the attacking third. They stiffen up and win it again into space. Taking their time. Over to Stanfield. However now, here's Whittinghill. Whittinghill with space. Finds a runner. And into space. Can she win it? Having a hard time. As tough is Holmberg. And what do we have? And it's going to be a free kick. Now here's their big chance. Moments left in this match. KUFC Premier Knockouts now 2-0. The wall is set up for SCA. They nearly have to score on this try. And it goes over the top of the net, and a center ref might give him another shot at it. They're going to get another shot at it. Illegally set up that time. See what they do. Stelter, side by Upton! And the striker was right there on the doorstep, and that is the end of the match. The final score, SCA 92. And Carolyn Upton keep it a shutout, 2-0 over KUFC Premier Knockouts. And SCA 92, they have not lost in this tournament yet, and they have not been scored on. And they get their first 2 goals, though, of the tournament in Group D. And now KUFC Premier Knockouts have a loss and a tie. Hope you enjoyed all the action here from the Surf Cup 2008, the College Showcase. We wish safe traveling back home for the visitors for the Midwest KUFC Premier Knockouts and NoCal SCA 92 after the end of this tournament. Hope they enjoy their time, and stick with us. We'll have a little bit of comments and interviews before we close. Greg Porter back here at the end of this SCA 92 game versus the KUFC Premier Knockouts. And you are?
Actually, it's SCA, isn't it? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Shanice Azevedo.
Okay. talk a little bit about your this game today and about just getting into this tournament and the season so far.
This game, it's been hard for us because we all just came back from our high school season. So we're just getting back together, and I think we really pulled it together the second half and came through.
How'd your high school season go? What school you go to?
Windsor High School. It went okay. We made it to playoffs, but we got knocked off in the second game.
Okay. Well, you made it to the playoffs. That's a big thing. College for you? Any aspirations?
No, just the JC for now.
Okay, well, that'll work. That'll work. Okay, let me talk to your teammate. And again, I'll say happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you too. And talk a little bit about everything up to this point with your team and yourself.
Well, I'm Natalie Simon,
Okay.
but I'm currently injured, so I just have been watching the games, obviously, and I think that this game was definitely a big improvement from yesterday, so it's good that we got the win.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, what school you go to?
Petaluma High.
All right, did you play for that team? All right, how'd they do this year?
We made it to the semis.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Good team up there.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you look forward to in the future, either in this tournament or otherwise?
Well, for the future, I guess I'm going to go to a college, hopefully, and play soccer. So
All right.
that's pretty much my aspirations now.
Get healed up and everything.
Yeah.
And give it a shot. Okay. Let me talk to your teammate. You guys can come over closer to me here. Okay. And you are?
I'm Haley Anderson.
Okay. Haley, talk about things so far for yourself and the team.
I'm guest playing, but this team's doing really well. The first game, they said that they were in high school and stuff, but they're warming up and they're doing really well. I think they're doing good combinations. They're just doing good.
I tell you what, and the other girls would agree with me. I mean, you guys really played strong in this game, and especially in the second half. And I think that just took it out of them.
Yeah, we had a lot of momentum and we just kind of went with it. We just took it to them. We did good.
All right. Well, great things for you guys in the future. What school you go to?
I go to Jordan High.
Okay. Things over there, how are they going?
They're good.
Okay.
Pretty good.
Good. All right. Play on the team over there?
Yeah, we made it to first round of playoffs, but then we lost.
Okay. All right. Helping that team do it. Let me talk to your teammate. And you are?
I'm Samantha Jackson.
Okay. Samantha, talk about, again, so far, not just this tournament, but things for you and your team.
Well, recently I'm new on the team, but so far this is my first tournament with them, and I definitely think we're picking it up from the first game to this game, and we're keeping it going, hoping to win it all the way.
Okay. Sounds good. Anything that's been special as far as you getting down here and making things happen?
Not as much. Getting to know the team is a good, big thing for me, and it's really working out well.
What high school you go to?
Marin Catholic.
Okay. You guys in the playoffs? Things been going good over there?
Well, our soccer season's in the spring, so we haven't started yet.
All right. You're looking forward to it then?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Good. All righty. Thank you. Let me talk to your teammate here, and you are?
Melissa Madrid.
Okay, Melissa, talk about things for you and for your team so far this year.
Oh, we just got a bunch of ballers on this team.
Okay.
Doing our thing in Surf Cup.
And you had the opportunity to put a couple in the net and would have probably had another two if it wasn't for the keeper, right?
Yeah, I don't know. My shots weren't that good, but they found a way in, so I guess that counts or something.
Okay, well, yeah, it does, because it keeps you guys going, right? You guys still have a chance for the semis, right?
Oh, yeah. We have to. Yeah.
In the next game, there
Yeah.
you go. There you go. Want to play all the way to the last day, right? Where, it's just you and somebody else, and that's it.
Of course.
Okay.
Definitely.
What school you go to?
Casa Grande.
Okay. You like that school? You guys, you're on the team?
Champions this year.
What?
NCS champions, soccer.
Okay.
Yeah.
What division?
What is it?
What? Division. Big schools division. Okay.
School division. Right. Yeah.
Okay. Well, congratulations. Let me talk. And today, scoring the 2 goals. Let me talk to your teammate. And you are?
Twink.
Okay. Talk. Tell us your real first name and last name.
Kirsten Holmberg.
Okay. Talk, Kirsten, a little bit about things for you so far this season.
Well, we just started again, so there's not much to say except like the first and second game that we've just played.
Okay.
So, got better, improvement.
Oh, you guys have come along quite well in just a span of 2 games. It just shows, that you guys were U.S. Club Northern California champs, right? This team.
Yes, we were.
Okay, that's fantastic, fantastic. What school you go to?
What? Petaluma.
Okay. Again, you had a good season over there.
Yes, we did fabulous. All right. Thanks to Lizzie.
You got to go to college or anything?
Hopefully,
Okay.
you know,
Good luck.
can't see the future. But
Good luck. Let me talk to your teammate. And you are?
Lizzie Mitchell.
Okay. Lizzie, talk about this game. Again, a number of players played really, really strong, especially in the second half. You were one of them. Talk a little bit about this game.
I think we were just more used to playing together and stringing more passes, and we just kept going and doing better instead of playing down to the other team's level.
When you guys do that, then you look like champions again, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. What school you got to?
Petaluma.
Okay. Anything you're looking forward to your team to do here on out? Win this tournament or just at least finish strong?
Yes, I think that we should win this tournament. I think we're the best team in our
17.
the group that we're in. Yeah.
Group B, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, good luck. And you are?
I'm Paige Scott.
Okay, Paige, talk about this game today. You guys just, and you were one of them that just seemed to just apply a physical nature towards them in the second half, and they had a hard time dealing with that. Talk a little bit about, is that something that you guys have been able to do and take over a lot of games and eventually win tournaments?
Well, I'm a guest player on this team, so, but this is my 5th tournament with them, so,
Okay.
I don't know, I think, yeah, we're a physical team, and we can, when we play physically, then we play way better.
Okay,
So.
okay. All right, well, it definitely showed in the second half. What school you got to?
I go to Reynolds Secondary School.
Okay, how do you like that school? Were you on the team over there?
Well, I'm in a soccer center, and I'm out of district, so we don't, high school's not big in Canada, so.
Oh, wow. Fantastic. What city in Canada?
Victoria?
Okay, all right. I know where that's at. I've been there before. That's beautiful up there. All righty. Well, congratulations coming down here and enjoy the rest of the tournament.
Thank you.
And you are?
Kirsten.
Okay, Kirsten, talk about, again, yourself and your team and how you guys just came together a lot more.
Well, most of us have been together since under 10, so we just had to find that since we've been at high school.
Yeah, that
So,
rhythm again. Huh? Okay.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun when you get the rhythm and everything, the cohesion and just the mindset, right?
It's fun to win.
Well, it seems like you got a great coach. He had you guys, stiffening up and being tougher in the second half. What school you go to?
Petaluma.
Okay. Again, I know how that school's been. Anything you're looking for? You going to college, maybe?
Just to have fun.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm not sure.
Okay. See how it takes you one day? All right. Okay, one last thing you would like to do since there's nobody else going to come over here for an interview. And that's the coach. Want to do a shout out for your team? One last one?
Hey, team.
Okay, thanks. Coach, come on down.
I will. What's going on, man?
Josh Sterling, right?
Josh Sterling.
Yeah, all right,
The one and only
Josh.
that
All right, Josh, you did a great job with your team, getting them in that mindset in the second half. I was listening to you, and it just seemed like they just took over the second half.
Yeah, that actually has not a whole lot to do with me. I mean, I tell the girls they're gamers. And unfortunately, we've come back from high school season. We've had very little time to prepare. So I was hoping that eventually we'd get into our swagger back, and you saw it in the second half.
Yes,
and
I did.
that's how we play. So it didn't take me a couple little adjustments of telling them that our outside backs had to be the ones to get into the attack because they were crowding the midfield with 4 players and the midfield against our 3. So once we started getting the ball there, they started stretching out. We're able to move the ball around. And then I think once they have the ball, that's how we like to play. They sort of went, all right, this is how we play, and they started to get their swagger, and then the rest is history. So it doesn't take a whole lot from me, a couple key words, and they know they're gamers and they're good soccer players.
Well, you got to hold on to the import, my brother. Where did you play your soccer at?
I grew up down in Irvine. I played for Irvine Strikers.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I played up at Sonoma State University in Northern California and played a little bit
How'd
after
you guys do when you were playing?
We did great. My freshman year, we lost in the quarterfinals of NCAAs, and we were 3 times conference champs up there, and had a great run. And
well, I had to give you your love, you know, because Danny Madrigal, he got his over there, you know, talking about his pro career. So I had to give you yours.
Yeah,
but
I'm a pro coach, man.
There you go.
I was just a little better than him today. Doesn't matter how good of a player he was.
All right, thanks, Josh. Well, that's going to do it here from the College Showcase here at the San Diego Polo Grounds and the Surf Cup 2008. We hope you enjoyed all the action on a very nice morning here in the city of Del Mar. I'm Greg G.K. Porter for George Landon Video Sports Productions saying take care of yourself. God bless, and we will hope to see you next time. Bye now.